Hello, welcome to another IELTS reading lesson brought to you by EnglishEverest.com. My name is Trevor Gordon and I am the founder and lead teacher in English Everest. Okay, today's IELTS lesson is, as we can see on the screen, it's the yes, no, not given for the reading section, which I've already mentioned. How to solve this? This is what we're going to be looking at today. So without further ado, let's proceed. This is one of the more difficult elements, and it's very similar to the true false not given. The only difference between true false not given and yes no not given is what the writer wants us to believe, what the writer's opinion is, what the writer's feelings about something is, and their comments. So it's more about opinion rather than fact. It's a mixture of the two. So the way we define it is answer yes if the information in the text agrees in meaning with the writer's opinion or belief. We answer no if it contradicts in meaning or is the opposite in meaning to the writer's opinion or belief. Then it's not given if the opinion is not covered or mentioned in the text. And remember, we can only go by what is in the text, not what we know. And I'll point this out later. Okay, moving on. How do we approach this task? We approach this task in the same way as we do most reading tasks, with our 4 skills: skimming, scanning, intensive reading, and we could also use context reading in there, but for now these are the 3 main elements that we use. Okay, there's a note here saying if you don't know about these skills, then you should read up on them because you're going to need them for IELTS. So we're not going to cover those, so let's move on. Yes statements. Now, by way of an example, if you read a statement that says one traveller in 5 is avoiding travel agents by buying holidays from home, while in the text you read a section which says 20% of travellers are booking the holidays directly without help from travel professionals. Now, if you look at the coloured text, you can see that it's basically a paraphrase. The second sentence is a paraphrase of the first sentence. So basically it has the same meaning. Things that you should do is look at the nouns as your keywords, look at the verbs as your keywords, and any other expressions that are specific. So you read the keywords from both the statement, and from the text, and if they match in agreement, then the answer is yes. No statements. The sentence here we're using is: this puts increasing pressure on Britain's 9,000 agents, which have already been suffering from competition from low-cost airlines. If you read in the text, after competition from low-cost airlines, business is now getting better for travel agents. Well, that actually contradicts the first sentence, because in orange you can see it says increasing pressure, which is not the thing we're looking at, but it means they're having more pressure and they've already been suffering from. Suffering from means to get worse. Getting better is in the second sentence. So these two things have an opposite meaning. So the answer will be no. Not given statements. Holiday companies say that customers are becoming more confident about booking packages by phone or over the internet. The text reads: more holidays are booked by phone or over the internet than by travel agents. Well, the second sentence is a statistical sentence. It would give you numbers. For example, 60% of people book by phone, 40% go to travel agents. That's a statistical sentence. The first sentence is nothing to do with that. It's talking about their confidence in booking over the phone and internet rather than going to the travel agents. It's about confidence, not about numbers. So it doesn't tell us that more people are booking by phone and internet. It doesn't give us those figures, so we don't know. If we don't know, the answer is not given. Okay, here is a text about Chinese visitors to the UK. You can read this. I'm not going to go through this, obviously, in the video, but we're going to look at a couple of examples. So you read the text, you review these 6 questions. We are going to only do 3 for time. I don't want this video to be too long, so we'll just do 3 of them. Again, here you've got your techniques. Use keywords to focus on what to look for. Paraphrasing. The text in a statement will use different vocabulary and expressions to mean the same thing. Synonyms are also used. Skimming, scanning, context reading are, again, the skills. So it's just a little review of what you need to do to answer the questions. So the first question, the statement says, if we go back, the statement says Chinese women do not travel for business. The text says last year's visitors from China were split evenly between holidaymakers, businessmen, and people visiting friends and relatives. Okay, now there are keywords. Now we could say that businessmen means businessmen, but we could also say that businessmen is a common word used for both men and women. Sometimes we just say businessmen. It means business people, yes? And it's commonly used, but it doesn't specifically say men or women. So in this text, we don't know if women do not travel for business because it doesn't say specifically women. So remember, this is the point I made earlier. You have got to use the information from the text only, not your knowledge. If you think to yourself, well, businessmen means businessmen and women, so that's actually not true because you've said businessmen. No, in the text it does not say the word businesswoman, so you don't know. Okay, sorry, it does not say the word Chinese women or businesswoman, which would be the same thing. It doesn't say it in the text, so if you can't find it and it's not mentioned, the answer will be not given. The second one, Chinese travellers visit Buckingham Palace and the Tower of London. Okay, there's our keywords. The text says Britain's historic buildings and shopping are among the biggest attraction for holidaymakers. Again, even if we know, or if you know, that Buckingham Palace and the Tower of London are 2 historic London buildings, it doesn't say so in the text. That's your knowledge, but you can't use your knowledge. You've got to use what's only in the text. It's not there, so it's not given. And the third one, unfortunately, it's another not given, but you know, the others are not, so you'll be able to practice. Whiskies are cheaper in Britain than in China. Okay, keywords, whiskey's cheaper, Britain, China. In the text it says, and malt whiskey. Such goods are 30% cheaper than the equivalent items in China. Again, this is something where you really have to read for these things and look at the text very carefully. These are the reasons why people often get these questions wrong because they're there to really test you. It says here malt whiskey. Malt whiskey is only one type of whiskey. Yes, there are many. I think in fact there are hundreds of types of whiskey. So the sentence says whiskies. This means all whiskies. The text only refers to malt whiskey. So we don't know if all whiskies are cheaper in Britain than in China. So if we don't know that information, because it doesn't tell us, it's going to be not given. Okay, so that's the end of this lesson. Complete the exercise. There is a link below this video. If you click on the link, it will supply you with the answers to all 6 questions. Okay, practice a lot. There's plenty of material out there for yes, no, not given. If you would like material, you can't find any and you would like some, just send us an email at admin@englisheverest.com and we will gladly supply you either our own material or give you links to different sites that we recommend. Okay, so that's the end of the video. Again, please subscribe, share it with your friends. This will allow us to make more videos.